Robinson, who's in the slot. Look in that direction on a slant. Huge hit. Ball picked off. The Volunteers of the Carib make an interception. Jawan Mitchell. They call him Juju.
Discrepancy. Schuster, they were going to take a shot, but he's hit by Nelson. And Nebraska has picked up the football. Their first takeaway of the game.
Wells way down the field. It is into coverage. It is intercepted. It is over. Lamarian James has sealed the victory for Old Dominion. And fittingly, it comes on a takeaway.
Welcome back to Devy IDP Grind. This is Hollywood, Choppin', Justice. What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well on this take two.
You introduced us in the wrong order. So Justice is in the top right, so he's going to say hi next, and then I say hi. So you should do it in the right order. So you say, "Hey, Justice, how are you?"
You had two chances to get it right, and you still messed it up.
You go all cattywampus. We established several episodes ago that the person on the top would be next, and then I would go last. Save the best for last.
Okay.
Go me, bro.
Okay. Anyway, we don't have much news and notes, so we'll run through these quickly because I know that Brock likes them so well.
He wants to talk about that Bailey kid from Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got that on here. Anyway, Alabama suspends its true freshman Tony Mitchell after he was arrested for drug charges and running 144 miles an hour and all that good stuff.
We had much better banter around Tony Mitchell and Tony Montana and everything last time. So they'll just be like the lost episode, the lost take of it. So
we talked about it's probably better for Caleb Downs, right? Not that he needed help, but it kind of elevates him a little bit more. And Alabama losing the three safeties, Branch, Battle, and Helms. They definitely could use some help there. So that's not good with Mitchell getting in his trouble either. So
yeah, it's definitely hurt him. I think he's got to miss sometime, I'm sure. I guess it kind of depends on what the
I guess ultimately he get kicked off the team, right? Lose his scholarship.
Yep.
They don't kick anybody off the team.
Yeah.
You'd have to, unless he freaking raped Saban's daughter, he's probably fine.
God. Oh my gosh.
And we're gonna go down. We're gonna go downhill from here.
Well, I think I set the precedence earlier, so it's not completely your fault. But and then Travis Hunt, or the rule changes. Sorry, you can visit with juniors 11 months earlier, so almost a year earlier now. You can initiate phone calls at the end of their sophomore year, and you get 8 total in-person off-campus visits, and only 3 can be used in their junior year. So I think all this is
talking about Bailey, your boy Bailey from that got the DUI.
Well, I was going to, but somebody erased it. So
wasn't me. It must have been the freaking hacker. Must be going.
Chad Bailey, linebacker from Missouri, got a DUI. He's suspended from the team.
Yes.
I'll give anybody $1 if anybody could tell me 3 things about Chad Bailey.
I never heard Chad Bailey, but so the only Missouri linebacker I knew was Tyron Hopper.
He actually had 50-some tackles the last 2 years. So
Bailey did.
Yeah. Little did I know. That's about as irrelevant as irrelevant gets. So yeah,
I don't know. Hollywood might draft them in DWC next year. So
He probably would. Nah, he only drafts like G5 guys or fucking Division 2 guys.
FCS Division 3.
Trying to give you guys a fighting shot.
But he might sit out this year and show up at like freaking Abilene College or whatever the hell it's called in Hollywood to be out on his radar then.
That's right.
Abilene College.
Him and Perma can fight over those kids.
That's right.
Got to have some fun somehow.
Back to the rule changes. Like, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Chop said it during the first take. Like, it's just legalizing what's already being done.
Yeah. Makes it more official. Or if that's a thing. But, yeah. And then we talked about Travis Hunter, the cornerback for Colorado, who followed Dion from Jackson State out there to the Buffaloes. And he's reportedly been putting the majority of his focus this spring on improving as a wide receiver. Super talented athlete, can do pretty much anything he wants to. Do you guys think he's going to make a full-time switch to wide receiver? Or is this just like a Dion thing where he kind of plays both here and there, or just does he stay at corner or defensive back?
I think if he probably has like the athletic ability to play either one, but I think in this day and age you need to commit to something, right? I mean, naturally, I think corner is probably what he is, and if he wants to play receiver, though, he should probably just, like I said, he should go tell Coach Prime that he wants to be a wide receiver and drop the defensive back thing and just work him out there and let him grow there and see what he does. But I don't. There's too much skill in the NFL right now to have someone playing both sides of the ball. Too much skill in college football to have someone playing both sides of the ball. I mean, you got to focus on a trade and commit to it, in my opinion. And if he doesn't want to do that, I think it's just going to hinder his development in both. So,
Yeah, I mean, I know some people think like if he wants to play wide receiver, he'd be like, top 3 wide receiver, or just based on his athletic ability, I assume. So.
Yeah, I got to imagine now that we're Colorado, we can see some of those measurements come out a little better than we could Jackson State. But yeah, it was a short week on the news and notes, so not very much going on. So
for IDP leagues, that'd be good, right? If he plays receiver, because you could get points, offensive and defensive points for the kids. So,
well, if you play in those type of leagues, I know there's some leagues they don't. If you play offense, you don't get the defensive points, right? If you play defense, you don't get the offense. Which
they play the position you start them at. I don't know if it all like transfers over and stuff, but I think.
Well, I know our leagues because I do the scoring for defense. If you started him as a defensive back, he will get the points as a receiver. Yeah. Now, if you start him as a wide receiver, you're not going to get the defensive points because I don't score the offensive players. So.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know they're putting some focus on him there, but doesn't that feel like more of a scripted 10-play a game thing kind of thing or something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of did that with Charles Woodson, didn't they? I mean, didn't Michigan?
Well, it'd be interesting to go back and see like what were his offensive snaps last year at Jackson State, because I know he played some wide receiver there too.
I want to say he had like 180 yards, a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's a ton of snaps. It's kind of like we're going to throw him out here and at key situations, and he's probably one of those things when he's in there, the defense is going to focus on him and whether he's the target or not, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to matter, and I'm sure it's a plus, but yeah, I don't know. I think for his long term, he should probably just focus on something and stick with it, but who knows how much of a, he might just be flirting with wide receiver a little bit.
Well, the other thing that probably factors in is, Colorado isn't exactly overflowing with talent.
Yeah, then you got some holes everywhere.
So that could be part of the reasoning.
Yeah. Well, like I said, short week for the news and notes. So we'll move on to our topic for this week, which is transfer portal part 2, linebackers and safeties. We kept the same conferences that we had last week. We're just swapping positions here. So SEC, ACC, mine's very short. Keenan Peely, Tennessee from BYU, 3-star, 57 outside linebacker, played 4 years at BYU, 190 tackles, 95 solos, 11 TFLs, and had 72 tackles in 2020 and 62 in last year. So
he's starting next to Beasley?
I think so, yeah. If not, he's going to be that third guy, and with Beasley being the only mainstay, I got to imagine they're going to use a heavy rotation there anyway. So
right, because they had what was it last year? Mitchell, Beasley, and oh gosh, what's your boy's name in the draft?
Banks.
Banks. Those are the 3, right?
Yeah, those were the 3 last year. Yeah.
I don't even know what Peely's doing. So, like, class of 2016.
Right. He's been around.
Well, he went to BYU, so he might have served a mission.
Well, okay. So he's fucking he's like fucking 25 years old. Like, who gives a shit? I mean, if you can't go to the NFL after your 23rd birthday, then you should just.
But he can help. He might be able to win an SEC championship, maybe.
Tennessee ain't winning no damn SEC championship. Come on. You're starting freaking lanky ass Nico back there at fucking quarterback.
No, they're starting Bazooka Joe, man. Bazooka Joe, buddy.
Yeah, that guy sucks. He's worse than. I'd rather start the freaking freshman more over him.
Nah, Bazooka Joe's gonna have a year.
No.
Yep.
Come on. He's gonna throw more. He's gonna throw more picks by week 5 than is even manageable.
Well, what if it clicks, right? What if it clicks for him?
It won't.
Well, people said it wouldn't. People said the same thing about Joe Burrow. People said the same thing about Bo Nix, right? So
he's not even on the level of those guys. Like, I've seen enough of him to think he sucks. If you think Joe Milton's worth anything, then I'm sorry. Come on, man. Kill me.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, I thought Bo Nix sucked too, and look what he did last year.
Joe Milton. Bo Nix at least showed some flashes and stuff. What has Joe Milton shown? He couldn't even win the fucking quarterback job at Michigan.
Joe Burrow sucked too before he went off, but you know.
No. Joe Milton couldn't even win the quarterback job at Michigan.
Joe Burrow couldn't win their quarterback job at Ohio State.
Well, who did Ohio State have then? Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, come on. They're like oranges to freaking coal, you dumbass. Joe Milton. They can take Joe Milton, Keenan Peely, and freaking Tennessee's heading straight to a freaking 7-7 season.
I think you need to make a bet with Chop Hollywood about Joe Milton.
Make a bet. What bet you want to make? That he sucks? Okay, I'll bet that.
Well, what's going to be the determining factor if
Me?
he sucks or not? Yeah.
I'll just watch a game and I'll tell you.
He said me.
If they start Joe Milton, they will finish in the bottom half of the SEC.
Ooh. They might.
So if that's their starter week 1 or whatever, they're going to finish in the bottom half of the SEC.
That sounds like a bet for you, Hollywood.
No, I'm out.
He doesn't have the
You're out.
He doesn't have the
God.
Maybe
You're the Tennessee fan.
Maybe you should make it their ODU.
ODU sucks. Hayden Wolf sucks. We wish we had Joe Milton.
Yeah, well, maybe next year he will. After he flames out at Tennessee again and goes to his 3rd school.
No, he'll have to leave it. This is his last year of eligibility, so he'll be done after
Who
this
even
year.
knows how much? I mean, this kid here, freaking Peely's been in college since 2016.
No. He graduated high school in 2016.
Okay,
but he very likely, because he went to BYU, he probably went and served his Mormon mission.
Okay, so 2017, 18, so he's got 19, 20, 21, 22. None of that stuff beforehand counts. I mean, he's like 46 years old. He's older than me. And Tennessee's contemplating starting him at linebacker. And that's news to Hollywood.
Well, he's going to start. They're going to start him at linebacker. They don't have anybody else.
Bad. That's just bad. Tennessee's taking steps back this year. They're Hollywood. Sorry, man.
We'll still be 10 steps ahead of them Cornhuskers.
Nah.
Y'all so far down, you're never going to get back.
No.
You should bet on who has the better record, Tennessee or Nebraska.
Well, not this year. Nebraska's in a rebuild. I'd bet on 2024 right now.
Well, you just said Tennessee's going to be in the bottom half.
Well, yeah, Nebraska's like, what's Nebraska doing? They blow up their whole team. It's not even like, why are you instigating shit over there, fucking ODU? I mean, ODU can't even be in the top half of the fucking Sun Belt.
Yeah, they suck. I tell you.
Oh, come on,
quarterback. We have a terrible quarterback. That's the problem.
Who cares? It's the Sun Belt. I can go out there quarterback in the Sun Belt. You should finish in the top half.
Hey, our quarterback's old as shit too. This is his 5th year.
So you're saying I'm old as shit?
Our quarterback is.
Oh my gosh.
Go on to this Jeremiah Jean Baptiste guy. Sounds like a freaking like villain from a Claude Van Damme movie.
I told you I looked in there wasn't much portal news.
Is he related to Javante from Notre Dame?
Not that I saw, but I wasn't looking very hard.
Oh, let's see.
But yeah, he's a 3-star, 4 years at UCF, 35 games, 152 tackles, 97 solos, and 14 TFLs. So back-to-back 50 tackle seasons. So we'll see what he does at Ole Miss. Might be worth a late flyer if you need help 1 week or something.
He's not worth anything. Late flyer, no flyer. I mean, 50 tackle, freaking American Conference. Who gives a shit?
Hey,
teams run. They run like 200 plays of games in there. So like that's only getting. Like, I mean, that's just terrible.
It's like a quarter. That's like 25 in the SEC.
Exactly. Go on to your next guy.
Yeah, I don't see anything that says the two are related.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. So I'm just going to finish out because I'm done listening to him. Safety, Antavius Lane, North Carolina from Georgia State.
You skipped Marshall.
You skipped Trezon Marshall. Trezmin.
Yeah. Yeah, I said I'm skipping right on. Yeah.
You're done listening to me. Whatever.
I'm done listening to you.
So you're jumping to my boy Hit Stick Lane.
Hit Stick Lane.
That's his name. Hit Stick Lane.
I just mentioned him.
You think I come here to make stuff up? Come on.
Oh, Jesus.
You can kick me out.
You're good, Justice.
I had the Big 12 and the Pac-12. This probably of the three, I'd say these are probably the most impactful, I think, from a fantasy standpoint. Linebacker David Ugwoegbu, he is going from Oklahoma to Houston. He was a 4-star, number 25 defensive end, the class of 2019. Played 4 years at Oklahoma, 46 games, 208 total tackles, 109 this past season, 4 sacks, 2 this past season, 16 TFLs, interception and pass breakups. So he's staying in the conference, right? With Houston moving up to the Big 12. I'm not quite sure. It just seems odd, right, that he would leave Oklahoma unless
Not
Oklahoma.
Really. I mean, he wasn't going to play behind Kanak and what the hell's my other dude's name?
Oh, Stutzman.
Yeah, so
maybe that's the case, right? That's the only thing that makes sense.
Maybe he's thinking, maybe he probably would have been like cast as an edge there, and I don't know if he's really an edge guy. So, he
did have 100 tackles for him last year, but
no, Oklahoma's defense was fucking chop shit. So, I mean, they probably had 7 guys with 100 tackles last year.
I mean, that's got to be it. That's the only thing that really makes sense why he would go from Oklahoma.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't going to play. Like, Kanak's a freaking stud. I love that kid at Oklahoma. I think he's the guy. I like Stutzman too a lot, but Kanak's different. Kanak's I think I say it is K-N-A-K. Am I saying his name right? If not,
yeah, I think so.
That's how I'm saying it. So, but I kind of get it. I don't know Houston is a landing spot. Maybe I don't know where he's from. If he's from Texas and stuff like that, maybe that's why he went back there or whatever. But kind of a recruit that never really, I suppose, panned out for what they wanted or intended there for him, right?
So next is Justin Jacobs. He's going from Iowa to Oregon. again, I mean, he would have played at Iowa, but he's get more notoriety in Oregon. I don't know. I mean, Oregon needs linebackers too. He was a 4-star, number 16 outside linebacker in the class of 19. He played 3 years at Iowa, 19 games, 63 total tackles with a high of 53 in 2021, 1.5 TFLs, 1 interception, 3 passes defended, and a forced fumble. He was supposed to be a breakout star for Iowa last year, but he was injured most of the year. He injured his leg in week 1, and then he came back in week 4 only to re-aggravate the injury, and then he had season-ending surgery. I mean, I think he's someone that can be productive for fantasy purposes and possibly even on the next level, right? I mean, at least he was pre-injury, someone that was getting some NFL draft buzz.
I don't know. This transfer just like sours me on him. You know, I think he had a chance last year to break out, and yeah, granted he got hurt, but then now he's like, you know, that linebacker room was open at Iowa. You know, I know they took Nick Jackson as their transfer, but he leaves. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't necessarily understand what he's doing and think that it's a betterment for anything. To me, it kind of makes him I'm just going to cross him off any of my lists I have almost.
Well, and I don't think like Nick Jackson necessarily would have affected Jacobs. I don't think Jacobs is
they're a different position.
Right.
I mean,
they're different types of linebackers.
You know, but he had an opportunity there. I mean, there's a clear path for whatever, I think, with all the guys they left and stuff. And he just elected to go somewhere else. You know, maybe he thought a restart was good, but I mean, now he's a 5th-year guy going to a new school. And I mean, that kind of loses a lot of luster to me.
All right. The next guy came from Oregon. His linebacker, Justin Flo, going to Arizona. He was a 5-star. He was the number 1 inside linebacker, number 6 overall in the class of 2020. He was at Oregon for 3 years, but he only played in 12 games. He had 50 total tackles, 35 of them last season, 3.5 TFLs, and 1 forced fumble. He only played in 2 games his first 2 years. He had a knee injury in 2020 and a foot injury in 2021. He came in. Did him and Sewell come together?
Yep,
I think so. Yeah,
and they were supposed to be the end all be all, and neither one of them really did a whole lot. You guys, I mean, maybe he'll get a fresh start and he'll do something in Arizona.
He's always been hurt. I think that's the biggest thing, and you know, but I suppose there's lots of room for opportunity in Arizona. Maybe he'll flash and show. I don't know if that's necessarily a program you go to showcase your desirability for the next level.
I mean, he can improve upon his stats because their defense, and Arizona's defense, isn't very good. So,
yeah, it's downright shitty.
Yeah.
Next is Choppy's guy from last season that he mentioned in our conference preview. Is linebacker Mason Cobb. He's going from Oklahoma State to USC. He's a 3-star, number 57 inside linebacker in the class of 2020. He played 3 years at Oklahoma State, played in 20 games, 106 total tackles, 96 of them last year, 3 sacks, 2 of them last year, 16 TFLs, 13 last year, 1 interception, 1 pass breakup, and 1 forced fumble. He Chop called it during the conference previews that we did last summer. You know, he broke out for Oklahoma State. He was the man, and now he's off to USC, which is another terrible defense. Needs a lot of help.
Yeah, I don't really get that transfer. I guess it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't necessarily think he's helping his NFL chances to move into USC, and he's just going to a new team, and I don't know if I don't get it, but I guess
it could be NIL, right? Maybe he's getting some NIL money.
Yeah, to help keep that afro going. It's possible. Man, it's like big. Have you ever seen it? Like, you should check out Google Mason Cobb afro, man. That stuff is on point. That's like a top 5 hairdo in college football right now. So.
All right, moving on to safety. Evan Williams going from Fresno State to Oregon. He was not ranked in the class of 2018. He played 4 years at Fresno State, played in 33 games, 226 total tackles, 90 of them in 2021, 1 sack, 11 TFLs, 4 interceptions, 12 passes defended, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 forced fumbles. He's for college IDP leagues. He's someone that's been pretty productive there at Fresno State. So it'll be interesting to see if he can, keep that production going at Oregon. When I say he's been productive, he was injured quite a bit last year, but if he can stay injury, if he can, stay healthy, then be interesting to see with the step up in competition what he can do at Oregon. Certainly help his draft stock.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's about as good as anybody in the country. A lot of people don't get to see him because he plays on the West Coast, right? Fresno State. So a lot of people don't watch those late games. But man, if it wasn't for him, they would have got blown out a lot worse than they did at times. So yeah, we'll see if he can do the same thing at Oregon, and if he can, that's a big get for them, right? Because they're losing Gonzalez this year. Not that he's going to play corner, but it'll give them somebody in the secondary to replace some of that impact play. So yeah, we'll see what he can do.
Next is has been a favorite of mine, but the guy who just can't stay healthy is Jalen Catalon. He's going from Arkansas to Texas. He was a 4-star recruit, number 26 safety in the class of 2019. He played 4 years at Arkansas, 18 games, 159 total tackles, 99 of those in 2020. 3.5 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions, 1 interception return for a touchdown, 9 pass breakups, a fumble recovery, and 3 forced fumbles. He played 6 games in 2021, then injured his shoulder and missed the rest of the season. And then in 2022, he played in 1 game and re-injured that same shoulder and had season-ending surgery. He was a freshman All-American in 2020, but he hasn't really played since then. So the key to him is, can he stay healthy?
Yeah, he's shown when he's healthy he can play. So that's just been the thing. He's not been there.
Yeah. So I don't get the move. Like, does a change of scenery thing necessarily going to make him healthier or something? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make because I think there's opportunity in Arkansas as a
SEC
defensive backfield and stuff like too. Maybe he thinks he can flash more at Texas. Maybe not going against the competition necessarily, but I don't know. I just think he, unfortunately, like some players, their bodies and makeup aren't made for like the higher levels, right? You just kind of wonder if that's not him with all the injuries he's sustained over the last couple of years. So
next up is the guy that was a freshman All-American this past season. He is moving from New Mexico to Houston, and that's safety A.J. Hawsey. He was a 3-star, number 144 safety in the class of 2022. He played 1 season for New Mexico, played 12 games, 87 total tackles. He did have 24 of those in the game against Fresno State. He had 3 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, three pass breakups, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 forced fumbles. And as I mentioned, he was a freshman All-American in 2022. Someone that really broke out, kind of came out of nowhere. He had that huge game against Fresno State. So now he's moving up quite a bit in competition.
Yeah, well, is he? He's moving. Everybody thinks
he's moving to Houston. They're playing in the American Conference this year, right?
No, Big 12.
Are they in the Big 12 this year? All right.
Yeah, well, they're in the Big 12.
I mean, I think he can transition fine and play at that. I mean, he's a big safety. I mean, based on his recruiting stuff, I mean, I think he's like 5'11", like 220 or something like that. He's a physical kid. I think he'll be, just fine as kind of a box linebacker for Houston heading out. I mean, I don't know athletically, who knows, I guess, but his future might wind up being he lines up as a linebacker for him. It might be a better fit for him long term,
Well, so many teams are playing, like a 4-2-5 now, or
3.35 or whatever the number is. I mean, there's always 5 out there, but I think he could be. But he might wind up being a part of the 2 or the 3, because like I said, he's a, he's pretty. I mean, 220 for a linebacker or for a safety. I mean, that's pretty good size. I mean, there aren't many NFL linebackers going around or NFL safeties going around at 220 anymore. So like I said, his position might wind up being like a linebacker for him or something, which I think he could be a fine, in that aspect, doing that for a team. So.
All right, on to Chop with the Big Ten and the Group of 5.
Oh, that's so exciting on to me with the Big Ten and the Group of 5. So,
you probably got the single best one of all the transfer spots. I'd say you got the one guy that's like bam.
So, Rod Dilworth is going from North Carolina to ECU. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Nah.
Nope.
No. I actually kind of like that move. I think he's going to be, somebody for like campus to camp league purposes or worth keeping an eye on because, I mean, I kind of thought he was the guy that was going to be in that linebacker rotation last year, but it turned out being
Gray and Taylor. No,
Gray and, yeah.
Not Taylor. Who's the other guy's name?
Eccles.
Eccles.
And so, but I think Dilworth can play, and I think he's using me a good fit for him. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he's I think he's a good get in those leagues like that. The other one I got for the Group of 5 is J.D. Coffey. I want to say he was a 4-star recruit or maybe 5. I don't know. Whoever formatted my shit, cut that out of there for me. But he's going from Texas to San Diego State. I could see him fitting in well at San Diego State, the way they play defense and things. So
did they lose McMorris? Wasn't Patrick McMorris there?
I think he was a senior.
He graduate?
It doesn't even matter if they graduate anymore. They can stay in college for 17 years. It used to be simple. It was 4 or 5. Now it's like anywhere between 4 and 12. It's like we're on the freaking curve to get through like kindergarten in Tennessee. You can do it for 4 years or 12 years.
No, McMorris is still there. He's a senior.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He's a super senior. He's on his 1, 2. So he's using his COVID year.
His COVID year. So he's 36. So that was kind of it that I had for the Group of 5. For the Big Ten, I got Ernest Hausman going from Nebraska to Michigan. He was only a 3-star recruit. If you watched Nebraska last year, I think he was obviously underrated by the so-called experts. I thought he played really well, and I think he's a good get for Michigan. I think maybe not this year with Colson there, but I could see him being the transition to from Colson after this year here. So I really like Hausman.
I know the Michigan fans are really excited about him.
Yeah. I don't know where he fits in this year. I think that's going to be the trick, but I think I like him. He's a hell of a fucking football player. The other guy's Nick Jackson, went from Virginia, where he had a long kind of he's been there for a while, and he's had a pretty successful career there, but he's going to Iowa.
He should be easy 100 tackles there, wouldn't you think?
Well, I think he's going to fill that role that Campbell had and various guys before him and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you could probably pencil him in for 10 tackles a game kind of stuff. I don't know if he's I don't know if I still don't know if he's an NFL player, but I think he's going to fit in well, and he's going to scheme well for him, and he's going to, kind of be the focus or the center point of that defense for what they're doing this year here. So,
I mean, I think from a fantasy standpoint, he's the number one guy from a transfer portal perspective.
Yeah.
Either him or Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste. Those are my top 2.
Who?
Oh, man.
Or is it Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste? Does he prefer the Juan? He's on your fucking list, Hollywood. Don't who me.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, did you delete him? You should.
No, they're still there. Mine ain't all the bright booger green you got going on here.
So, I kind of like that. I just I
Neon green.
It was all yellow before. Kind of reminded me I had to go take a pee. Next is I got a safety, Jihad Carter from. They got some room in their defensive backfield there with Hickman going on to the NFL, and
they lost another guy too, right?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah. So I could see Carter.
Banks, isn't it?
Who?
Cam Brown.
Cam Brown, yeah, that's who it was.
So, I can see him floating in there, getting some reps and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Is that necessarily going to help his like draft stock or anything like that? I don't know. I mean, going to Ohio State and playing well there is never going to hurt you. So I think he'll be good there. And then Avante Williams going from he was like, I know here it says 4-star, but I think some services have him as a 5-star recruit, if I'm not mistaken. Going from Miami to Maryland. So, I mean, Maryland kind of strikes it again with, they're kind of big on getting former 4- and 5-star recruits that didn't do anything, and they put them in their program, and then they really don't do anything there either. So,
I guess with Cam Kinchin's kind of breaking out last season, that was kind of his signal to say, I got to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, I don't think there's room there. They got 2 pretty good safeties coming back. And so I think he's, if he wants reps or whatever, and I don't, so he went up to Maryland where, I mean, I think anybody can show up there and play. So maybe it'll work out for him. But yeah, I mean, he's a huge recruit. Maybe he'll do things there. So, but yeah, that was kind of it for the Group 5 and Big Ten. It wasn't necessarily a whole lot of sexiness out of it. I think the thing about the transfer portal that hopefully people realize is that these guys didn't really pan out at their previous school for the most part, unless they're going from a G5 to a Power 5 school. A lot of times there's just guys that, are they necessarily making their situation better? And a lot of them aren't. They're just kind of looking for a chance to play, and maybe they're just not good enough. So,
right.
And there's still quite a few guys that haven't decided where they want to go. And then, of course, you got the transfer portal opens again in May. So there'll be more guys transferring over the summer.
Yeah, especially once we see how spring games go a little bit. I think that's going to be one of the key things, right?
Yeah. Guys will see.
The pecking order.
The pecking order will be established, and they'll be getting the heck out of Dodge if they don't like it.
Well, I think a lot of those coaches.
This guy, and I've only got 1 year left, so let me go here. And
a lot of coaches, though, are smart enough to realize that. Though, like I think if they view a guy on their, they're 2 or 3 deep. I mean, I think they're being careful with how reps are distributed in spring game because they are in spring practice, even because they know, we know this guy isn't going to start for us, but we don't want him to leave either.
We don't want him to know he's not going to start for us.
Yeah, I mean, now it's kind of like preseason NFL almost, where teams aren't really showing anybody anything, and I think that's what the coaches and staffs are there doing too, and I mean, you hope they'd be honest with the player, but they're not. I mean, they'd rather, if you can keep a guy there as your backup safety when he can start for half of Division I football, I mean, that's a get, right? So,
yeah.
They want to keep the depth.
Well, they almost have to, right? Can't like a camp body in a way. They got to have a full.
Well, you can't, right? You someone's injuries, all that stuff, right? You're going to need to have depth. So,
well, you just don't. Sometimes you just don't want to transfer. Because I mean, what if like it's in conference and stuff like that? You don't want a guy that you deemed wasn't your starter, but he goes out and he picks off that pass at the end of the fourth quarter. That's fucking detrimental to your team, So I just the whole spring thing. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think is there some validity in it? Yeah, but I mean, like, it's a fucking sham too. I mean, coaches are smart. They're not. They're not just going to play who they want to be their starters week 1. I mean, they realize they got to stroke egos.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're dumb as shit and they're fucking coaching Tennessee.
Yeah. Coach them right to 11-win season.
Bobby Hill.
One 11-win season, Hollywood.
He's a grown-up Bobby Hill.
A grown-up Bobby Hill.
Back. I had an 11-win season once under fucking Solich too. Mutt.
Yeah, but that was in like 73.
2000s, their ass hat. I think next week's episode should just be Chop It in Hollywood just fighting for an hour.
Well, it is going to be. I mean, with what we're going to talk about, isn't that what's going to happen?
Probably not. I don't know. What are we talking about?
Talk about the draft, the DWC IDP only draft that's going on now before the NFL draft.
Oh yeah,
the rookie draft. So we can talk about all those awesome picks that Hollywood made.
I was just throwing darts blindfolded.
Well, sometimes I don't even think you hit the dartboard though.
Well, that's the price you play when you play blindfolded.
You weren't even throwing darts blindfolded. You were throwing darts you're just like asking for punishment on some of your picks. I think you just like the reaction from us.
Yeah, because I care what you say.
You do, Hollywood. I know you go to sleep every night crying because you think like you disappointed Chop.
Who?
I think him and Perma are trying to see who can draft the most obscure person.
I can beat him at that.
Like it's a contest between them two.
I got obscure guys my next pick. That'll be the winner.
I picked my obscure guys, and they're not that obscure. So
I'll pick a Division I guy, NAIA.
NAIA. You just go straight JUCO. Sit down and watch the last episode of freaking what was it called? It's not Hard Knocks. What's the damn thing on Netflix? Yeah, Last Chance U. Go find yourself a Last Chance U guy, Hollywood.
Yeah. I got a list for that.
A guy from East Mississippi Community College.
But they switched to basketball for their last two seasons. Like, what the hell? What's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. The football ones were pretty good. I didn't watch the basketball ones.
Do we have any listeners' questions or listeners quit listening?
I don't know that they started.
It's probably smart. It's probably good that they did. We're all better for not listening to this fucking shit.
No. I don't. Now, maybe Chop knows these guys. What was Sal was asking about these two kids that were freshmen last year? Do you remember who they were, Hollywood? One was. I know one was from Michigan. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, because I think he asked Kyle about
it. Kyle talked about the Michigan guy. Okay, it was Jimmy Rolder from Michigan and T.J. Dudley from Clemson. You know anything about them, Chop?
Jimmy Rolder,
linebacker from Michigan, and T.J. Dudley for Clemson. They were both freshmen in 2022.
Well, I mean, if they're freshmen at freaking Michigan and Clemson, I probably wouldn't throw it out the window based on them not doing anything as freshmen. I think Rolder will play some. He's like, I don't know. Like he's a weird guy, right? Like I think if he goes to the right team and he'll probably have a couple decent college years. But if he goes to the right team in the NFL, he's kind of like almost like an Alex Singleton or something like that. Like he fits in the right scheme. Maybe he'll do something, but he's kind of a guy that could be irrelevant for a lot of teams, right? You know, I don't know if, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I think he'll at some point have a year. I don't know if it's this year because I think they got some talent returning at linebacker and stuff.
They got Colson and Houseman.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to play a lot this year, but I could see after Colson leaves, maybe he becomes their middle guy or whatever. So I don't hate him. I mean, it all depends on the depth of the league and what you're looking for. To me, so
I think this was this is for NFL potential because it was a Devy only league. So
I I mean, late. Like, I don't know. I mean, like I said, he'll probably find his way in there, and I think if he goes to that right situation, right? Like, I think that some teams are fine with like an Alex Singleton at linebacker, right?
Sure.
But other teams aren't. So it's hard to project, I guess. I mean, I would, if it's late enough and it's cheap enough and I can I have enough roster spots, yeah, sure, I'll fucking throw him on my roster and wait and see. But I probably wouldn't be overly optimistic about what it'll happen. So who's the other guy?
TJ Dudley. He was a 4-star Clemson, number 22 linebacker in last year's class.
I don't know anything about him.
I don't either. He's 6'1", 230.
I actually like Dudley. I think Dudley has more like traits that fit what they're looking for in the modern day linebacker in the NFL. So he'd be someone I'd be a little more excited about. I mean, again, he's stepping into a pretty deep linebacker room, so it's going to take a little bit to show their worth, I guess. But yeah, I would hold. I mean, again, depending on where you're taking them and how deep it is, I would prefer Dudley over. I can't already forgot the guy's
name.
Yeah, but I think he kind of checks more NFL boxes for me as far as what I know right now. So
cool.
Well, I guess that does it for now. If we don't have any more questions, I don't have any. So
you guys are pulling out fucking DJ Dudley on me and
DJ Dudley,
Joe Romper,
hey,
whatever.
But you knew who they were. Like I didn't know who they were. I didn't know anything about either one.
Well, I'd heard of Roller, but Dudley, I had no clue on that. I was like, okay.
I prefer Dudley just because I think he's got with Simpson gone, I think he's got a better chance to step into something this year, and you can kind of see what he is. Where I don't know if you see that with the Michigan kid. So
fair enough. All righty, that does it for this week.
Why are you trying to? I feel like you're trying to shut me off, Hollywood.
Hey, the floor is yours. Talk all you want, bud. We got all the time in the world.
Are you actually recording now? Did you?
He did the record button this time.
Or did you already shut it off? You already shut it off. So no, I'm just playing. So good episode, guys. I appreciate it. We were better than last week because last week we were
more energy than last week. A little more excitement.
Last week we sucked. We'll be honest. If you watched us last week,
bless you.
And you never watch us again, I really don't fucking blame you.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible last week. Ain't gonna lie. But
I just know good information, but no energy.
I don't know if it was good information or not. Pound for pound, we sucked.
Oh shoot. Wherever you listen to the podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Over on YouTube, subscribe. You can follow me at Hollywood Titan. You can follow Justice at Justice_2318. And you can follow Choppy at Choppin_KC. Follow us at Devy IDP Grind. And you can find us anywhere. Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, so all that good stuff. Please give us a follow, and we will see you next week.
Peace.